The alarm lights flashed red across the hull of the human ship Vanguard, painting every metal surface in sharp color. The crew did not know what had hit them yet, but they all felt the same sudden shaking. Captain Mara Hale grabbed the railing to steady herself as the ship lurched again. The old metal groaned, like it wanted to tear apart. She did not panic. She had been through worse. But the new recruit beside her, Jace Rowan, froze with fear. This was his first deep space patrol. He had trained for battles, but training could not prepare anyone for the sound of a hull being scraped from the outside, like claws dragging across skin. "There! Starboard side," shouted Commander Rin. He pointed at the wide screen that showed a dark shape clinging to the Vanguard's outer hull. It looked like a mass of armor plates and hooked limbs. It scraped again. The ship vibrated. Mara narrowed her eyes. Not a ship. A creature? "No, Captain," Rin said. "Look closer. It's tech. Alien tech." The crew watched the creature's limbs stab into the steel. Sparks flashed in the cold space outside. "Trying to cut in," Mara said quietly. "They want inside." Another shape appeared on the screen. Then a third. More of the creatures, crawling and attaching themselves to the hull like giant insects. Jace stepped back. "Why us? We didn't threaten anyone. We're just scouting the region." Mara's voice stayed calm. "Doesn't matter what we were doing. Something out here sees us as prey." Then the ship jolted hard and the lights flickered. Power dropped by 30% in seconds. "Captain!" an engineer called out. "They're draining us. These things are feeding on the energy grid." That was the moment Mara understood. These aliens were not just trying to board them. They were hollowing the ship out, feeding on it piece by piece. If they didn't stop them soon, the Vanguard would be a dead shell floating through cold space. "Push power to shields, full," Mara ordered. "We can't," the engineer answered. "They are siphoning too fast." The situation was turning from dangerous to hopeless in seconds. Rin looked at her. "If more of them latch on, we lose control of navigation. We'll drift." Mara nodded. "Then we make sure they stop latching on." She pressed the calm button. "All hands, prepare for emergency maneuvers." Jace swallowed. "Emergency? Captain, what are you thinking?" Mara didn't answer him. Instead, she focused on the alien shapes on the screen. They were still cutting. Still draining. They believed the human ship was weak. They believed the Vanguard was food. They had no idea what humans did when they were cornered. "Roll the ship," she said. "Violent rotation, full." Rin hesitated. "Captain. That could tear off our tower arrays." "It will also tear off the creatures," she said. "Do it." The engines fired with a deep roar. The ship began to spin. At first, the aliens held on easily. Their limbs dug deep into the hull, slicing grooves in the metal. But Mara wasn't satisfied. "Faster," she ordered. The ship spun harder. Everything inside the Vanguard shook: tools, chairs, loose cables. Jace felt his stomach rise as if the floor had dropped beneath him. Outside, the creature struggled. One lost its grip and flew off, spinning away into the dark. Another slid several meters before it was thrown into space. But more remained. They were stronger than expected. "They're not giving up," Rin said. "They will," Mara said. "Because we will force them to." As soon as she said it, several sharp impacts hit the hull. New shapes appeared on the sensors. More of the alien machines were coming. Jace stared. "There's too many. Captain. There's no end to them." "No," Mara answered, "there is an end, and we'll show it to them." The Vanguard kept spinning, but Mara knew it would not be enough. So she made the call that would change everything. "Bring power to the thermal coils," she said. The engineer's voice burst through the calm. "Captain, that will heat the outer hull like a star. You'll fry anything out there, but you'll also risk overheating the ship." "If the choice is between overheating," Mara said, "or being eaten alive, I choose heat." The coils powered up. The hull began to glow the faintest orange. The creatures twitched. Some pushed away. Others tightened their grip stubbornly. "Higher," she said. The hull grew brighter. One creature's limb melted at the edge. It screeched silently in space and detached. "Captain, we're reaching dangerous levels," the engineer warned. "We can't keep increasing." Mara stared at the screen. "Just a little more." The hull blazed white hot. The remaining creatures writhed, twisted, and then burst in sparks and fragments. The ship finally fell silent. Jace let out a shaky breath. We did it." Rin checked the sensors. "They're gone. All of them." But Mara did not smile. She saw something else on the long-range sensors. A shadow far bigger than the creatures they had just fought. A ship, massive, alien, and moving toward them. They were scouts, Mara said slowly. We just killed their scouts. Jace turned pale. Then what is that? Mara stared at the massive vessel approaching. That, she said, is the real problem. And the Vanguard, wounded, drained, and burning hot, was in no shape for another fight. Not yet. But humans did not surrender. And if these aliens wanted a nightmare. Mara Hale was ready to give them one. The enemy ship grew larger on the main screen, filling more of the black space with every passing second. It was shaped like a curved blade, long and sharp, with glowing symbols moving across its hull. It looked alive, like metal mixed with something organic. The surface shifted slowly, as if it breathed. Captain Mara Hale stood completely still as she studied it. Her crew waited for her next order, but she said nothing at first. She wanted to understand the threat before speaking. That alien vessel had not rushed toward them in anger. It moved slowly, calmly, like a hunter that knew its prey was already trapped. Jace stepped closer, his voice small. Captain. What do they want? Mara answered, if their scouts were trying to drain us, then maybe energy is what they feed on. Maybe they see us as a resource, not as people. Rin added, if so, this ship is likely their collector. Or something worse. The screen flickered as the alien ship broadcasted a strange pulse of energy. The pulse washed through the Vanguard like a wave, causing lights to dim for a moment. No one spoke. They all felt the tension in the air. The engineer came over the comm. Captain. That pulse scanned us. It mapped our whole structure. Mara's jaw tightened. So now they know exactly where we're damaged. The alien ship stopped at a short distance. 5 small openings formed on its side, smooth, silent, like liquid metal rearranging itself. From those openings, thin, needle-like pods shot out. They moved fast. Contact in 10 seconds, Rin shouted. Mara didn't waste a moment. Seal every section. Prepare countermeasures. They want our ship? Then we'll make sure they choke on it. Jace rushed to the side controls, hands shaking, but he forced himself to focus. He had never seen combat like this. He had trained for pirate attacks, asteroid strikes, and human conflicts. Not monsters that melted metal and drank energy. The pods struck the hull with light taps, like raindrops. But each tap instantly spread glowing roots, binding the pods tightly to the ship's surface. They're attaching again, Jace said, breathless, just like the creatures. No, Rin replied. These are worse. The sensors lit up with warnings. The pods were drilling deep, not with claws or limbs, but with controlled beams of energy that cut through layers of metal like soft clay. Boarding attempt incoming, Mara said. But they won't get far. She hit the emergency control panel. Release internal gas flush. A loud hiss echoed through several distant halls. The ship vented freezing gas into the spaces where the aliens were cutting in, turning those areas into ice-cold death zones. Any living thing would freeze in seconds. But the pods kept drilling. They don't care about the cold, Rin said. They're machines. They'll carve straight through. Mara nodded. Then let's make their job harder. She turned to Jace. You. Follow me. He blinked. Me? Yes, you. You want to stay alive? Good. Then move. Jace ran after her as she moved down the hall. The ship shook again, small tremors that told them the pods were getting deeper. Captain, where are we going? He asked. To the auxiliary power room, she said. If they want to drain our energy, we'll feed them something else instead. Jace didn't understand at first, but when they reached the room, he realized what she was planning. She pointed at a large cylindrical device glowing blue. That is the flux battery, she said. It holds unstable energy. If someone tries to drain it without the right system, it explodes. Jace's eyes widened. You want them to drain it? Yes. But the blast will tear through half the ship. Not if we control the direction of the release, she said. We'll channel it into one point. The pods will be the point. Jace swallowed. Captain. This is insane. Her eyes met his. Survival often looks insane. Now help me reroute the power. They worked fast, fingers moving quickly across the wires and consoles. The ship trembled again, louder this time. Pods are almost through, Rin warned through the comm. 10 meters deep. Maybe less. Rin, Mara replied, prepare the blast channel. When I give the signal, open it. Mara and Jace finished connecting the last cable. The flux battery hummed dangerously, like it wanted to burst already. Captain, Jace whispered, what if this doesn't work? Then we die, she said simply. But if we do nothing, we will die anyway. The ship suddenly groaned. A thick metal plate bent inward. The aliens were seconds from breaching inside. Rin, Mara said calmly, do it. Rin opened the blast channel. Mara hit the final switch. The flux battery released all its unstable energy in one violent surge. The power shot through the channel like a spear of blue lightning. It ripped down the halls and slammed into the sections where the pods were drilling. A giant boom shook the entire ship. The lights flashed white, then dark, then returned. Jace fell to the ground. Mara caught herself on a console. Even Rin shouted through the calm as the shockwave passed through their ears. Smoke filled the room. Sparks danced on the floor. When the shaking stopped, Jace slowly lifted his head. On the screen, all the pods were gone, blown apart. Only scorched metal remained where they had attached. We did it, he breathed. But Mara stayed silent. Rin spoke again, his voice trembling. Captain. The alien ship. It's charging something. A weapon. A very big weapon. Mara looked at the screen. And her stomach turned. The enemy ship was opening its entire front section like a giant mouth. A bright, terrifying light was building inside. The light growing inside the alien ship was so bright that the Vanguard's sensors had to darken the screen automatically. Even then, the glare felt like it burned through the glass. Captain Mara Hale stared at it without blinking. She knew what a charging weapon looked like. But this was something beyond anything humans had seen. It's building power faster than we can track, Rin warned. If it fires, we won't survive. Jace swallowed. Captain. Should we run? Mara kept her eyes on the giant glowing mouth of the alien vessel. We can't outrun that. Not in our current state. The Vanguard was still recovering from the flux blast. The engines were hot, stressed, and far below safe levels. Their shields were barely alive. They could not fight. They could not escape. But they could think. Options, Mara said. Give me something. The crew looked at their screens, but each face showed the same defeat. Nothing they had could block a shot like that. Jace spoke up, voice shaking but steady. Captain. The blast we used on the pods. Could we do something like that again? Something stronger? Mara almost smiled. Stronger would blow us apart. Rin turned sharply. Captain, what about the debris from the pods? It's still floating around us. Mara raised an eyebrow. Go on. If we push the debris outward and ignite it with a controlled burst, maybe we can create a cloud. A reflective barrier. Or at least a distraction. It won't block the weapon, Jace said. Not fully. But it might weaken it, Rin answered. Or throw off their aim. Mara thought fast. A distraction was not a real solution. But it could buy them a few seconds. And seconds were precious. Do it, she said. Redirect thrusters. Push all debris forward. The Vanguard's engines moaned as they fired weak bursts. Bits of metal from the destroyed pods floated in front of the ship, forming a small metallic field. Not thick enough to stop anything powerful. But it was all they had. Captain, the engineer said quietly, we are half a minute away from the enemy weapon fully charging. Jace clenched his fists. What do we do when they fire? Mara looked at him. We survive. He waited for more, but that was all she gave him. The bright light inside the alien ship expanded. Sparks of energy jumped inside it like lightning trapped in a sphere. It was horrifying. It was beautiful. It was death forming in front of them. Mara spoke loud and clear. All hands, brace. The alien ship fired. The beam was not a simple line. It was a massive wave of white-blue energy, as wide as the Vanguard itself. It moved fast, almost too fast to see. The debris cloud the crew had created lit up the moment it touched the wave, shining like 1,000 small stars before exploding into a spray of molten metal. The wave dimmed slightly. Not much. But enough. Full power to forward shields, Mara commanded. What shields? The engineer cried. They're barely. Do it. The shield flickered to life for a single heartbeat, glowing pale blue. The wave hit. The shield shattered like glass. The Vanguard was thrown backward like a toy. Everyone inside flew from their positions. Panels ripped off the walls. Sparks exploded. A terrible ripping sound echoed through the whole ship. Jace slammed into a railing, pain shooting across his ribs. Rin fell to his knees, gasping. Mara hit the floor hard and felt blood in her mouth, but she pushed herself up instantly. The lights flickered. Dimmed. Then stabilized at emergency levels. Jace coughed. Are we alive? Rin checked the screens. Many were dark or broken. But one still worked. "We're alive," he said, breathless. "But barely." Mara wiped blood from her lip. "Damage report." "We lost the entire left stabilizer wing," Rin said. "Half our engines are gone. Power is at 12%. Life support is stable for now but won't last long." Jace looked at the screen showing the alien ship. "What about them?" Rin checked, then froze. The alien ship was not moving. The giant mouth-like weapon was now dim. Its hull flickered with strange cracks of light. "Their own weapon overheated," Rin said. "They took some damage from firing it." Mara stared. "They didn't know our debris would reflect their energy even a little. It fed back into their weapon." "So? We hurt them," Jace said. Mara nodded slowly. "Not enough to stop them. But enough to surprise them." The alien ship began to repair itself. Liquid metal spread over the cracks, sealing them. "They're recovering," Rin said. "Fast." Mara took a deep breath. Her crew was injured. Her ship was dying. The enemy was stronger than anything humanity had faced. But humans did not stop. She stood tall. "Prepare the weapons we still have," she ordered. "We will not wait for them to attack again. This time, we strike first." Jace stared. "Captain? Against that ship?" "Yes," she said. "Against that ship. But we don't have firepower left." Mara looked at him with a calm, cold fire in her eyes. "We don't need firepower," she said. "We need strategy." Rin frowned. "What strategy?" Mara pointed at the screen, where the alien ship's wounded weapon still glowed weakly. "That weapon is still unstable," she said. "If we can force them to fire again, we might make it explode." Jace blinked. "Force them? How?" "The same way we deal with any predator," Mara answered. "We make it angry." The air inside the Vanguard felt heavier now, as if the ship itself knew the danger outside. Captain Mara Hale stood in the center of the bridge, calm but fierce. Her crew watched her, waiting for a plan that could keep them alive for more than a few minutes. The alien ship was slowly repairing its weapon. Every second they waited gave the enemy more strength. Humans could not match that power, not with guns, not with shields. But anger. Anger they could use. Mara spoke clearly. "We're going to provoke them. We will make them aim that weapon at us again before it finishes repairing." Rin stared. "Captain, if they fire again?" "They will explode," Mara said. "If we do this right." Jace's voice trembled. "And if we do it wrong?" Mara didn't hesitate. "Then we die quickly instead of slowly." Jace swallowed hard. He had not expected deep space missions to be like this. He had imagined exploration, mapping star systems, recording strange animals and plants. Not this. Not a battle against something so powerful it felt like a living nightmare. But he also saw the way Mara stood, steady, fearless. And he found himself wanting to be like her. Mara turned toward him. "Jace. You're coming with me to the lower decks." He blinked. "Me again?" "Yes. You learn fast. And I need someone who can move quickly." He straightened up. "Yes, Captain." Rin looked worried. "What are you doing downstairs?" Mara answered simply, "We're going to give the aliens a reason to notice us." She left the bridge, Jace running behind. Down the ladders, through the halls, past flickering lights and broken wires. They reached a small control room buried deep inside the ship. It controlled one of the few working pulse cannons they still had, the weakest weapon on board. Jace frowned. "Captain. This cannon won't even scratch that ship." "It doesn't have to," she said. "We only need to irritate them." She activated the cannon manually. The console flickered, threatening to die, but then stabilized. The cannon charged slowly. Mara spoke through her wrist calm. "Rin, angle the ship so the cannon has a clear shot." Rin answered, "You want the alien ship to see where the shot came from, don't you?" "Yes," Mara said. "Clear as day." Jace leaned in. "Captain. If they shoot back, they'll hit this section first." "Yes," she said calmly. "That's the idea." Jace stared at her. "But we're still in this section." Her eyes locked with his. "We will fire and then run. Fast." Jace nodded. He didn't like it, but he trusted her. The cannon reached full charge. "You ready?" Mara asked. Jace took a deep breath. "No. But do it anyway." Mara fired. A small blue pulse shot out from the Vanguard. It was tiny compared to the power of the alien ship, like throwing a pebble at a mountain. But it hit the alien hull, leaving a small scorch mark. The alien ship paused. Lights shifted across its surface. It had noticed. Run, Mara ordered. They sprinted out of the room, feet pounding on the floor. Behind them, the cannon's energy coil began to overheat from the rapid discharge. Alarms screamed. The Vanguard's hull creaked. They reached the lift shaft just as the section behind them shook violently. Rin's voice came through the comm, panicked. Captain. The alien ship is turning toward us. And. Captain, I think you succeeded. They're charging the weapon again. Mara allowed herself one short breath of relief. Good, she said. Now hold them there. Jace almost stumbled. Hold them? How? Mara answered, we're going to make sure they fire at exactly the wrong moment. They rushed back to the bridge. Rin spun around to face them. Captain, the alien weapon is heating up. But the damage from before makes it unstable. The energy buildup looks uneven. Perfect, Mara said. Jace pointed at the screen. But how do we make them fire early? Mara raised a finger. Simple. We act weak. Rin blinked. Weak? Yes, turn us away from them. Make it look like we're trying to escape. Slowly. Jace caught on. If they think we're running, they'll fire before we get out of range. Mara nodded. Exactly. Predators strike when prey tries to flee. Rin began turning the ship. The Vanguard moved sluggishly, limping like a wounded animal. The alien ship responded instantly. Its glowing mouth widened, energy swirling out of control. They're rushing the weapon, Rin said. They think we're trying to escape. Good, Mara said. Keep turning. Make us look scared. Jace watched the screen. The alien weapon shook violently, cracks forming again. It doesn't look stable at all. Patience, Mara whispered. The weapon flickered. The energy inside it pulsed irregularly. Almost, she said. The alien ship roared with blinding light. Now, Mara shouted. Cut all heat signatures. Make us drop off their sensors. Rin hit the switch. The Vanguard systems dimmed to almost zero. Lights went black. Engines fell silent. They became a ghost in space. The alien weapon fired. The massive beam shot forward wildly, and then something finally snapped inside the alien ship. The bright mouth ignited from the inside, exploding outward. The entire front of the alien vessel blew apart in a horrific blast of blue fire and metal fragments. The shockwave shook the Vanguard even in its ghost state. Jace grabbed the railing. Captain. We did it. Mara watched the burning wreck. Not yet, she said softly. Look. The alien ship was not destroyed. Its front half was gone, torn open, but the back half was still alive. Its lights flickered with strange alien fury. Rin stared in disbelief. How is that thing still functional? Mara watched it carefully. Because, she said, the weapon wasn't their only threat. The alien ship began to open again, but not a weapon this time. A hangar, something inside was preparing to launch. The alien ship's damaged hull peeled open like broken armor plates. Inside the hangar was darkness at first, thick, deep, and quiet. But then shapes moved inside that darkness. Tall, thin, insect-like shadows. Their limbs clicked faintly, even through the vacuum outside. Jace felt his stomach twist. Captain. Those things. They're not machines. Rin zoomed the image. The shadows became clearer. Their bodies were long and sharp, with extra joints in their legs. Their faces were flat plates with glowing cracks for eyes. They held strange staff-like weapons. Mara watched steadily. No. Those are living soldiers. Not machines. Not scouts. Real fighters. The alien ship shook as the hangar doors fully opened, releasing a sudden blast of cold gas. Then the soldiers launched out. They didn't use small pods like before. They jumped straight into space, propelled by thin jets on their backs. Dozens of them. Maybe hundreds. Jace stepped back from the screen. There's no way they can board us like that. They'd need air. As if answering his thought, one of the aliens raised its staff and shot a beam of green energy at the Vanguard's hull. The beam cut straight through the metal like a knife through cloth. Then the alien crawled into the hole it had made. Rin stared in horror. They're not waiting to attach. They're forcing their way in. Mara straightened her shoulders. All hands. Prepare for internal defense. We're about to be boarded. Her voice went through every hall, every broken deck, every damaged room of the Vanguard. Crew members grabbed rifles, shock batons, anything they could use. The ship was weak, but the crew was alive, and humans always fought hardest when they were pushed to the edge. Mara looked at Jace. Stay behind me. But stay sharp. These things will not show mercy. Jace nodded, but fear shook his hands. He had never fought aliens before. Not real ones. Not ones that cut metal like paper and crawled like nightmares. They left the bridge and rushed into the main corridor, joining others forming a defensive line. The ship lights flickered as power shifted to emergency battle mode. A loud crash echoed through the halls. Then another. Something was inside. Rin's voice came through the comm. Captain. Multiple breaches across the ship. We have hostiles in Deck 3, Deck 5, and the rear cargo bay. Mara raised her rifle. We hold them here. If they reach the engine core, the ship is finished. Jace swallowed and tightened his grip. From the shadows ahead came a scraping sound. Long and sharp, like metal claws dragging across steel. The crew pointed their rifles forward. A dark shape crawled upside down along the ceiling, moving with disturbing speed. Its joints bent in ways that looked wrong. Its cracked eyes glowed green as it dropped to the floor silently. Mara didn't wait. Fire! The hallway exploded with gunshots and bright flashes. The alien soldier twisted unnaturally to dodge, moving like it had no bones. But humans had numbers, and bullets. The creature collapsed after several hits, twitching on the floor before going still. But the victory lasted only seconds. More scraping sounds filled the dark. Jace saw movement on the left. There. Another alien leapt out, hissing with a metallic rasp. It slashed at the nearest crew member with its weapon. The human fell back, armor cracked. Mara shot the alien 3 times in the head. It fell. But more kept coming. From the ceiling. From the walls. From broken vents. The Vanguard shook as the alien ship sent more soldiers like a swarm. Rin shouted over comms, Captain. They're focusing on the ship's power grid. If they disable that. I know, Mara said. We hold the line. The hallway became a storm of gunfire and flashing alien blades. Jace fired until his arms hurt. Mara fought like she had lived her whole life in battle. Crew members screamed orders, dragged the wounded back, and replaced empty magazines with shaking hands. But the aliens were fast. Deadly. And they were adapting. One alien raised its staff and fired a green bolt that struck Jace in the chest. His armor absorbed most of it, but the shock threw him back. His vision blurred. His rifle slid out of his hands. He tried to get up. His body refused. Through the haze, he saw an alien crawling toward him, its limbs clicking, its cracked eyes glowing brighter as it approached. Jace reached for anything at all. His fingers brushed a broken metal pipe on the floor. He grabbed it, rolled to the side as the alien lunged, and smashed the pipe against its head. The impact cracked one of its glowing eyes. The alien screeched. Jace hit it again. And again. The creature went limp. He lay on the floor panting, heart racing with terror and adrenaline. Mara dragged him back behind cover. Good. Keep that mindset. Humans survive because we fight harder than anyone expects. Jace nodded weakly. Rin came over comms again. Captain. There's a larger one, something bigger, coming through the main breach. Mara's eyes narrowed. On my way. The crew gathered what strength they had and moved toward the sound of heavy steps shaking the deck. The air trembled with each impact. Something massive was inside the ship. Something built for war. Jace felt fear rise again, stronger than before. The aliens they had fought were soldiers. But this was something else. A commander. A monster. Or maybe both. And it was coming straight for them. The heavy steps echoed through the hall like thunder. Each one shook dust from the ceiling. Crew members exchanged nervous looks as they formed a thicker defensive line. Even the injured tried to stand, pushing pain aside. No one wanted to face what was coming alone. Captain Mara Hale stepped to the front with her rifle raised. She didn't blink. She didn't tremble. She only breathed slow and steady. Jace stood behind her, gripping his pipe and a new rifle someone had handed him. His arms still shook, but he forced himself to stay in place. The lights flickered. The hall fell half dark. Then the creature appeared. It stepped into view from the smoke at the far end of the corridor. It was almost twice the height of the smaller soldiers. Its armor was thick and black, like layers of stone and metal fused together. Its shoulders were broad, carrying glowing symbols that pulsed like a heartbeat. Its face was a smooth plate with 4 bright green eyes arranged in a diamond shape. It held a massive staff weapon in one hand. The end of the weapon hummed with a deep, dangerous energy. Rin whispered through the comm, voice trembling, Captain. I think that one is commanding the others. Mara nodded. So if we kill it, the swarm might weaken. The giant alien raised its staff and slammed it into the floor. A shockwave burst down the hall. Down, Mara shouted. Crew members dropped as the wave roared over them, smashing into walls and sending equipment flying. Sparks rained down. Jace covered his head as the blast pushed him back a full meter. His ears rang. His vision blurred again. The wave faded. The alien commander stepped forward slowly, confident, as if nothing the humans could do mattered. Mara stood first, lifting her rifle. Fire! Bullets filled the hallway. Every crew member unloaded everything they had. The giant alien walked through the hail of fire, armor ringing like metal drums. Some bullets bounced off completely. Others dug shallow dents into the heavy plates. It did not stop. It did not slow. It only raised its staff again. Move, Mara yelled. A beam of green light shot past where she had been standing only a split second earlier. The beam carved a glowing line through the ceiling, melting metal like wax. Hot droplets fell to the floor, sizzling. Jace fired his rifle desperately. Bullets sparked off the alien's armor, doing almost nothing. This thing won't fall, he shouted. It can, Mara said, eyes locked on the creature. Everything has a weakness. As if hearing her challenge, the alien commander roared, a deep mechanical roar that shook the walls. It charged. Mara rolled aside. The alien swung its staff, cutting through 3 control panels in a single stroke. Flames burst from the destroyed consoles. The crew scattered. The alien commander moved with speed shocking for its size, grabbing one soldier and throwing him down the hallway like a rag doll. Jace's legs nearly froze again, but he forced them to move. He grabbed the injured soldier and pulled him behind cover. Thank you, the man breathed. Jace nodded weakly and aimed again. Mara rushed the alien from behind, firing point blank at the joints in its armor. This time the bullets sank deeper. Sparks burst from exposed cables and dark, thick liquid sprayed out. The alien turned with a furious hiss and swung its staff. Mara ducked just barely. The wind from the swing alone would have broken her ribs. She jumped back and shouted, "Aim for the joints. That's where the armor is weakest." The crew adjusted their aim. Bullets hit the alien's knees, elbows, and neck area. The creature staggered, but did not fall. It slammed its staff down again, creating a second shockwave. The floor cracked. Crew members were thrown off their feet. Jace smashed into the wall. Pain shot through his shoulder. He dropped his rifle again. But his hand closed around the metal pipe he'd used before. He stared at it. Then at the alien's legs. He forced himself up, sprinting even though his body begged him to stop. He ducked under one of the alien's wild swings and smashed the pipe right into the exposed joint behind its knee. The alien roared and dropped to one leg. Mara didn't waste the moment. Now. Fire everything. The crew obeyed. They fired at the damaged leg, bullets tearing deeper. The alien tried to stand, but Mara shot directly into its neck joint. A burst of alien fluid spilled out. The alien swung its staff desperately, but Mara grabbed Jace and yanked him down just in time. The staff hit the wall, carving a glowing scar across it. Rin shouted from the far end, "Captain! Look at its chest." A panel on the alien's armored chest had cracked open, exposing a glowing core pulsing with green light. Mara saw it and her eyes sharpened. That's it. That's the kill point. The alien commander tried to close the armor plate, but its damaged limbs moved too slowly. Mara raised her rifle, steady as stone. "Die angry," she whispered. She fired 3 shots straight into the glowing core. The alien commander convulsed. Its eyes flared brightly. Then all 4 went dark. The massive body fell forward, crashing into the floor with a heavy metallic thud that shook the entire hall. Silence followed. Real silence. Jace breathed hard, staring at the fallen giant. Is it over? Mara shook her head slowly. No. The ship that sent it is still alive. Rin spoke over the comm again. "Captain. Something new is happening. The alien ship. It's pulling back. And, Captain, it's charging a different system. Something we've never seen." Mara wiped sweat and dust from her forehead. "Then brace," she said. "Because their final attack is coming." The lights across the Vanguard flickered again as the alien ship pulled farther away. It was creating distance, not to run, but to activate something bigger than any weapon they had seen. Captain Mara Hale stood in the middle of the bridge, breathing hard but steady. Her uniform was torn, dust covered her shoulders, and small burns marked her arms. But her eyes were sharp, cold, alive. Jace joined her slowly, holding his shoulder in pain. The fight with the commander had pushed him beyond what he believed he could do. Yet he stood beside her now, ready for whatever came next. Rin studied the readings, his face pale. "Captain. Whatever they're charging now is massive. I don't think it's a weapon this time. Mara looked at the screen. The alien ship's remaining hull plates were shifting, opening like giant petals of a strange metal flower. Light swirled in the center of the ship, dark red light that looked almost like a storm. What is it then? Jace asked. Rin swallowed. A gravity device. A huge one. They're trying to crush us. Or pull us in. The air on the bridge seemed to tighten as if the ship itself already sensed the gravity shift outside. Jace's voice cracked. Captain. We can't take that. The ship is too damaged. We'll be torn apart. Mara didn't look away from the swirling red light. Then we don't wait for it to finish. Rin blinked. What do you mean? We strike first, Mara said. Before it activates. Before it destroys us. Jace stared in disbelief. With what? We have almost no weapons left. Mara nodded. Correct. Our weapons are gone. Our shields are gone. Our engines are close to failing. She turned slowly to face Jace and Rin. But the Vanguard still has one thing left. They waited. The ship itself. Rin froze. Captain. You're not suggesting. Yes, Mara said quietly. We rammed them. The bridge fell silent. Jace felt his heart skip. Captain. That could kill us. Mara nodded once. It could. But their device will kill us anyway. We choose how we die. And maybe ramming a damaged ship into their unstable gravity core will break it. Jace looked at her. You think it will explode? Mara replied, if it does, we destroy them. If it doesn't, then humanity still goes down fighting. Rin whispered, HFY. Mara gave a thin, brave smile. Exactly. She walked to the console and placed both hands on the controls. Her voice carried through every remaining speaker in the ship. All crew, listen carefully. The alien ship is preparing a final attack that will destroy us without a chance to escape. But we will not die quietly. We will not be prey. We will make sure our last act counts. Her voice grew louder. Strap in. Brace for impact. And remember, humans fight to the very end. Across the Vanguard, wounded soldiers lifted their heads. Engineers wiped blood and sweat from their faces. Crew members tightened belts, held onto rails, and stared at the walls with fierce determination. Jace took his seat beside Mara. His hands were still shaking, but now from adrenaline, not fear. I'm with you, he said quietly. Mara nodded. Good. Rin began inputting the coordinates. I've plotted the fastest collision route. The engines can handle one final burn. Mara looked at him. Then give the order. Rin hit the command. All engines, full power. The Vanguard groaned like an ancient beast waking up. The thrusters lit bright white, pushing the wounded ship forward. The hull vibrated. Panels rattled. The alien ship reacted. Its gravity core pulsed faster, brighter, stronger. Space itself twisted around it like ripples in water. Hold her steady, Mara said. Rin gritted his teeth. Trying. The Vanguard fought against the pull. The alien gravity field tried to drag them in at an angle that would tear the ship apart. Mara countered every force with the controls, muscle and instinct working as one. The two ships rushed toward each other, one glowing red with dangerous energy, the other battered, cracked, but unstoppable. Jace stared at the screen. We're getting close. Rin shouted, core overload on the alien ship. Captain, their device is unstable. Very unstable. Good, Mara said. We're going to help it fail. The gravity pull grew stronger. The walls creaked loudly as metal bent under pressure. Lights blew out overhead. Sparks rained across the bridge. Captain, Jace yelled. If we get any closer. We don't stop, Mara shouted over the noise. Not until the very end. The Vanguard's nose hit the edge of the alien ship's gravity field. The entire vessel screamed under the pressure. Glass shattered. Fire burst from broken panels. Mara pushed the throttle forward with both hands. For humanity, she yelled. The Vanguard plunged straight into the glowing core. The alien ship's red energy flared brighter than a star. Then, a blinding explosion erupted, tearing space open in a giant wave of white and red light. The alien ship shattered into debris that scattered across the void. The gravity core collapsed in on itself and detonated, consuming everything around it. When the light faded, silence returned to space. A small emergency beacon floated among the wreckage. A survival pod, launched at the last possible moment. Inside the pod, bruised and shaken but alive, Mara, Jace, and Rin breathed weakly as the emergency support system hummed around them. Jace opened his eyes slowly. Captain. Did we? Mara looked through the tiny window at the drifting pieces of the alien ship. Yes, she whispered. We won. Rin let out a painful laugh. HFY. Even when we're dying. We take the enemy with us. Mara leaned back, exhausted. And we survive, she said softly. We always survive. The pod drifted, waiting for rescue. And the wreckage of the alien threat spread through the darkness, a quiet reminder. Humans were not prey, humans were the nightmare. The small survival pod drifted through empty space, spinning slowly as it followed the gentle push of the explosion's shockwave. Inside, the air felt thick and warm from the emergency heaters. The lights were dim, but steady. Soft beeps filled the silence. It was peaceful, too peaceful after the chaos they had survived. Captain Mara Hale sat strapped into her seat, eyes half open but alert. Even now, she refused to relax. Her body ached from bruises and burns, but she kept her mind focused. The battle was over, but space was rarely kind. Survivors still needed rescue. Jace lay in the seat next to her, wrapped in a thermal blanket. His chest rose and fell slowly as he tried to breathe through the pain. Every muscle in his body felt like it had been torn apart. Rin sat in the back, adjusting the pod controls with shaky hands. System stable, he muttered. Beacon active. O2 filters normal. Fuel. Low, but enough to keep us from freezing. Jace let out a soft laugh. Low fuel sounds great compared to, being eaten alive or crushed into atoms. Rin nodded. I'll take low fuel any day. Mara looked out the small round window. Pieces of the destroyed alien vessel floated like dark snowflakes. Some glowed faintly. Others were just shards of blackened metal. A large twisted piece drifted close enough that she could see alien symbols burned into its surface. The enemy was truly gone. Yet somehow, she didn't feel victory. Not fully. Jace noticed her distant expression. Captain. You did it. You saved all of us. Mara answered quietly. The Vanguard is gone. The crew. Most of them didn't make it. I don't call that a victory. I call that survival. Rin looked up from the console. Survival is still a victory in space. Mara gave a small nod. The pod hummed gently as it drifted. Minutes passed. Then an alert tone pinged from the console. Rin blinked. Captain. Long-range scan just picked something up. Jace sat up slowly. A rescue ship? No, Rin said. Something else. Mara leaned forward. What? Rin increased the screen brightness. A faint dot appeared on the display. Too small to be a large ship. Too steady to be debris. It's a probe, he said. Human design. Old model. From Central Command. Looks like it's been out here for years. Mara frowned. Why would an old probe be in this region? This is uncharted space. Rin checked the signature again. Actually. Captain, it's broadcasting a priority message. The pod speakers crackled with static before a broken but clear voice came through. Central Command to all vessels. New alien activity detected in deep outer sectors. Hostile. Extremely advanced. Repeat, extremely advanced. Jace's eyes widened. Is that talking about what we just fought? The message continued. Multiple ships seen. Similar energy signatures. Unknown numbers. Approaching human borders. Mara closed her eyes for a long moment. This changed everything. Rin shut off the message, face pale. Captain. Those things we fought. They weren't alone. Jace whispered, there are more of them? Many more, Rin said. Maybe a whole fleet. Mara stared at the window again. The destroyed wreck of the alien ship floated by, turning slowly. She imagined dozens of them. Hundreds. All with weapons powerful enough to erase human ships in seconds. All with soldiers like the ones they fought inside the Vanguard. The thought sent a chill through her bones. Jace whispered, if they reach our space. What chance do we have? They almost killed us with one ship. Mara answered, voice low but steady. Then we warn humanity. We prepare. Humans grow stronger when threatened. We always have. Rin nodded. We need to reach command as soon as possible. The pod's beacon blinked faster, picking up new signals. Rin checked them. Captain. Good news. A human patrol cruiser is heading our way. We'll be picked up soon. Jace let out a breath of relief. Finally. Some luck. But Mara shook her head. Luck didn't save us. Choices did. Fighting did. And we're not done yet. The pod's radio crackled again, but this time it was a live voice. Survival Pod 73, this is the cruiser Sol's Reach. We have your signal. Hold position. Rescue team inbound. Jace smiled weakly. We made it. The pod jolted gently as a docking clamp attached. The hatch hissed open, and bright white corridor lights spilled inside. Human soldiers rushed in, helping them out of the pod. But as Mara stepped onto the cruiser, the commanding officer approached her with a serious expression. Captain Hale? He asked. We've been tracking strange energy signatures. Did you encounter alien hostiles? Mara met his eyes directly. Yes, she said. And what we faced out there is only the beginning. The officer straightened, listening closely. Mara continued, we destroyed one of their ships. But more are coming. Many more. We need to warn command. We need to prepare every defense we have. Jace stepped beside her. They won't stop. They don't understand peace. Only consumption. Rin added, and they're powerful. Very powerful. The officer nodded slowly. Understood. We'll take you directly to command. As Mara walked down the ship's long corridor with her surviving crew, she felt the weight of the future settle onto her shoulders. Humanity had been given a warning through fire and blood. And humans never ignored a warning like that. Mara closed her eyes for a moment, remembering the fallen crew. The Vanguard. The battle that should have killed them. Humans were not prey, and next time, when the alien fleet arrived, they wouldn't face a damaged scout ship. They would face the full strength of humanity. And humanity would be ready.